and all that.
He fucked it up.
He broke it.
Believe it or not, I have fucked with these before.
Sure.
The big black one.
What?
Juan, and just don't touch it, babe. Leave it alone. Juan.
I'm not doing shit.
He's over there like, I'm not doing anything.
I'm not touching anything. I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
So,
I like your new French fry.
I think I like your nose.
I think I'm in love with you.
What? What? You love me?
I can't believe I said that. Why did I say that? Who says that?
You love me?
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Rap,
And I'm Tam,
and welcome to
the Blah Blah Marry Me podcast.
episode number 8. And you know what? I'm excited about this episode.
Me too.
Why don't you explain why you're excited?
All right, so we've got some really awesome guests on today, Rap.
So what's going on today?
So today we're going to be talking to my compadres, Yvette.
All right.
Yeah, Yvette and Juan. You want me to call you Juan, or what do you want me to call you?
it don't matter. I can
Please just call him Juan.
We'll call him.
yeah.
We'll call him Juan. So, we talked a lot about different relationships and how there's different ways to be together. So people are just choosing to live together and not get married. And then you have traditional couples who are choosing to be married and do all of that. So my two friends are our traditional couple. And so we're super happy to have them on and give us some perspective, because we've talked about, we don't know anything about being married. We just know about being single.
Oh, don't. We have no idea.
It's called faking it till make it.
So you guys actually are one of my friends, because we talked about before that there was 1 year where I had 3 weddings that I was in. It was like between 23 and 24. And so you guys are actually the very first wedding, I believe. And so, gosh, how long ago has that been?
9. Could be 9 years. Let me check the trusty tattoo.
The tattoo has a date on there. No, it's been 9 years. It's about to be 9 years here in November 20th.
That's so crazy.
So,
I feel like, okay, so we're 30.
Has the time flown by, or is it like, has it gone like slow?
It's gone crazy fast.
Like, just being married, being young, dumb kids, to having 2 kids of our own, and then careers taking off and actually getting steady jobs. It's like, I blink and it's like, oh, I'm already at the 10-year mark. Like, how did this happen? It's just so fast.
I don't feel like we're that old.
No.
Like,
Until you actually deal with somebody that's 20, and then you're like, wow.
Oh, yeah, no, that's when I feel
it is
old.
horrible. Like, I'm glad I am old, because you're too dumb to even deal with.
Just like I told Tammy, I actually felt old the other day in Best Buy buying a computer.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, are you not going to like set it up? And they're like, no, ma'am, everything's on there. I just want to buy Office. No, there's a subscription. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
There's not a CD
I was like,
you can install.
legit, like, I'm about to talk to the manager, man. I'm like, I just want to buy it once.
See, I was smart, and I'm always able to get friends that do stuff that are without my realm. I can't do.
See, there
so
you
I
go.
have a compadre named Jonathan. Guy is an IT guru. Anything I need, from simple questions like, hey, how do you reset the phone, to Control-Alt-Delete's not working, what do I do? Call that guy. He does it all for me.
Why couldn't you hook him up to get her office
Because
then?
your comadre is too proud to. I'm not gonna bother them. It's Wednesday afternoon.
It's
call
fine.
them.
They would have totally given it to you.
Yeah, they would.
But she's like, I just need this one. This will work. And she just got a regular, and she uses
Yeah.
it. So she's happy, and that's all that matters.
Well, and they're another one of our married couple friends that Betty got married.
March 20.
Yeah, you got married in
2010.
November.
10?
She got married in March. So, yeah, there was a lot of weddings that year and a half.
Damn.
So, okay, so y'all been married for almost 10 years. So y'all been together longer than that.
We've been together since 2006.
Yeah. So I actually am the one who's good with dates. So I met her.
No.
I met her on the October 3rd.
Second. Oh.
No.
Macy's birthday.
I thought it was the 3rd.
Nope.
Damn, I'm a horrible friend. I can't remember.
He was very about knowing the dates.
I know it was 10-3,
Good job, babe.
2000. Oh, and it's 10-13 when I officially asked you. I got enough courage to ask you to go out with me. which I'm still awkward even to this day. It's like I'm a very awkward person, and I talk really loud, and that's like my self mechanism or whatever you call it.
We've noticed.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. See, over the years. So,
How'd y'all meet?
I met her at Buffalo Wild Wings at one of our friends, mutual friends' birthday. So I used to be real big into the car club scene and all that. So I've known Macy since, kindergarten.
I met
grade.
Macy through friends at San Jack.
So
And I was kind of at a turning point in my life, and I was invited to 2 parties in one night. I was so popular. 2. I just went 2. And I was like, where should I go? Should I go to this party where we're gonna get drunk, or should I just go to like Buffalo Wild Wings and have dinner with these like really cool people? And I was like, I'm gonna go to Buffalo Wild Wings. I was tired. I'm like, let me just go to that one. She seemed really cool. So I went to Buffalo Wild Wings. Really didn't know these people. They're like brand new friends. And I met him.
Yeah.
And
boy, did she meet me.
No, that sounds so bad.
She got the whole full aspect because I noticed her. And I'm like, wow, she's really cute. I love, her big smile. And then obviously she's very attractive to me at the time, and she still is now. You know what I mean. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole. Be like,
9 years.
I'm not trying to be mean. But no, I was like.
No, but she found her attractive.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, she's awesome. But no girl pays attention to me because I'm the loud, awkward friend that has no chance with any girl. I'm like, So I just sat there and talked to her for a little bit, and then I got up and then went like 2 more people over, and I talked to them for like 30 minutes. I got up, went to the other side of the table, and that's how it goes. I talked to like everybody there, and she told me later, once we were already dating, she's like, you didn't sit down and talk to me. I was like, well, I didn't know you liked me because, one, I'm too stupid to understand how signals work because I'm awkward. Because I'm like a guy. Guys don't pick up on this. Oh, hi. Really, that's just a regular hi to me. I'm not.
The
I
brush
remember
of the
sitting there at the
shoulder.
table.
Hi.
You're sitting with people you're barely meeting, brand new friends, and like they all have like this connection. So I'm sitting there kind of, just
Sitting there.
listening and having a good time, enjoying myself. And I'm sitting there talking to Santos and Chino, who are some of his best friends. And I'm like, these guys are very sweet. They're very nice. But I wanted him to talk to me, and he didn't. Like, I would try to, like, throw, like, things his way, and it was, like, one-word answers. I'm like, oh, this dude's not interested.
Aww.
So I'm just like, I'm just going to drop
Oblivious. I mean, completely oblivious. A girl like me? Impossible. I'm that one friend that, like, to this day, I still think of me like that. It's like, I'm very blessed to have Yvette. I mean, I know it sounds cheesy or whatever, but I really do love my wife. But it's like,
that's sweet.
There's no way in hell somebody would actually find me attractive or interesting or even want. And it's not that I have self-esteem issues because I'm usually pretty confident. But it's like, as a girl, like, nah, nobody can find me interesting. Like, no way. I can't,
But she did.
Exactly. That's it. It was mind-boggling. It's like, a girl like me? Nah, get out of here.
Yeah. So what happened at the end of that night then? So,
Nothing.
No, so he didn't even talk to her?
No,
like
I
it
just-
was like
again-
he like shook my hand, because he was polite Mexican, and I'm like, hi, señora, adios.
I had no.
He was like, nice to meet me.
I had no clue she liked me. Again, it was Mason.
I also wasn't like throwing myself
Sure.
at him. I was just like, hey,
then I had the
nice
2
guy.
other friends, our mutual friends. Her name was Christina and Macy. We haven't talked to Christina in a while as much, but Macy's still in our lives, and we still talk to her, and and I still tell her thank you all the time because she invited us and we went, and that's how we met. But it's like Macy a couple days later, she's like, stupid, what is wrong with you? I'm like, what? And then we were at her house where she told me, and Macy's parents were great people. Her dad and her mom were like, we're sitting there, we're inside the house, and it's like, one, I felt kind of weird just going into random people's houses anyways, but they felt comfortable enough with me. They're like, oh, you're just like another son, come on in. So I actually went in the house, and she's like, she likes you. And I'm like, who? Yvette. And I'm like, oh, the cute girl from the other night? She actually likes me? No way. And her dad was like, yeah, she likes you. And I'm like,
even the dad knew?
Yeah.
I was getting close with Macy at that time. Like we would hang out. We had a lot in common. We liked the same music and things like that. So like we would hang out. And like I told her, I was like, hey, your friend Juan's kind of cute. And she's like, who? Juan? She's like, Feisty? I'm like, yeah.
Or Juju, because they kept coming.
Juju. They called you Juju.
Juju.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, they called me Juju.
I called him Juju for like the first 6 months.
I vaguely remember that, but I.
And I remember one time we went to Austin and went to Jim Jim's to get snow cones. I was like, oh, I kept calling it Juju's, and I'm like, yeah, it's like that guy. Oh.
So then again, I'm too oblivious, and at this point, I had just gotten out of high school. It was 06. We graduated.
Sophomore.
I graduated in 05. I didn't go to college, so I was just working just random jobs. And at that point, I was at a place called Hoover. And I was working just 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon. And that's what I did 6 days a week, nonstop. So in the afternoons, I would get in my car, and then I'd go to car meets and that was my social life. And that's how we would go with Macy anywhere like that. So it would always be car events, or I'd go to the racetrack on my day off or anything.
And that's when
like
you
that.
had the XB, right?
Yeah. So, I had it. She fell in love with me for the car. That's the only reason she even talked to me was the car. I'm completely...
It's not true, but we'll just let him believe it.
We'll let you have it.
It
We'll
was
let
the
you have
car,
it.
babe.
It was the car. It wasn't me. Because my car was cool. I wasn't. And that was like my way of, hey, I'm not cool, but my car is.
Conversation started.
Yeah, exactly. Still works to this day, but...
Oh, so you're meeting people? I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, oh.
Conversation started like random
Well,
people come
thanks
up
for
to
joining in, folks.
That was the end of the podcast.
And we'll end on that one.
But no, it's just, I was working every day, so I didn't, like, nobody's going to want to talk to me or anything like that. And I remember the first day that we actually talked, and then I talked to her for like 9 hours straight.
It was one of those, like, do the night
talked on the
conversations.
Yeah. And
This was after the party.
After the party.
A couple
It was
days
like a
after
few
the party,
days
and
after.
she told me, she's like, she likes you, stupid. I'm like, no way. She's like, I'm going to give her your number. And I'm like, cool, give her my number. She'll call me. Thinking again, no girl's actually going to call me. I'm like, no.
And it's so cheesy because I still remember I was out with some of our friends from high school, Christine and then Raquel and Leslie. We were eating at Red Robin because we would go to the Marquee.
Bottomless fries.
Huh? Yes, bottomless fries. Thank you. And we were sitting there talking, and I had a phone call from Macy. She was like, I need to talk to you. And it was back before like the smartphone, so it was like, oh my
No
God.
texting.
And I was like, oh my God,
Her razor.
I'm running out of text messages. So I go outside, I talk to her. She's like, that guy, I was talking to Juan, and he wants your number. Is it okay if I give it to him? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And she's like, but he wants to add you on MySpace.
Oh my gosh.
MySpace.
But again, no smartphone.
He wants to put you on his top 8.
He
She
did.
should
Don't
have checked
worry.
out the profile with the song jamming in the background.
Oh, gosh.
Totally
So I
got
remember
it.
being so excited. 'Cause I'm like, oh my God, let me get home. I'm going to have this friend request. And, oh God, it's so lame. And so I was so excited to leave. We finally left. I went home. And my laptop was broken, so I had to use my mom's computer that took forever to load the desktop. So I'm like hearing, to get online. Finally, like it loads.
Roadrunner. I had the fast.
Pardon.
Yeah.
No, and then I see my friend request, and I see his name, Market Street's Big Boy. And I'm thinking, oh no.
Tacuache written all over him. To this day, it still stands. You take me out of Channelview, but I'm still from the hood. Still on Market Street, still the big boy.
And yet,
I don't think I knew that was
Oh, you didn't know that was my handle? That was Market Street's big boy. That was my handle. That's me right there. You were from Channelview. I was
but
Market
this should
Street's
tell
big
you how
boy.
much I was interested.
Okay, so just for some background, let's tell about Channelview.
Oh God.
Channelview is this wonderful place where it's like you have.
They do documentaries over Channelview. Cops is a documentary.
So
People
Channelview
do
is
videos in graveyards.
Graveyards.
Like, it's a real classy place.
It's a nice place to grow up. So I grew up in a neighborhood called Little Mexico, and it's Market Street. It used to be a whites only section of town, but then you know how Mexicans move in and take over. So it was nothing but La Raza, and it's a bunch of trailer parks. And I had the honor to live in the only brick house in the hood. Everybody else's house was either in the air or a trailer. So I was high class Mexican because I had a brick house.
And so he lived actually on Market Street, which Market Street's like
An
a
industrial
busy
road. So like it was a bar, my house, a bar.
No, I parked at that bar.
I kid you not. So they're wanting me to paint the picture, painting the picture, and that's why they're laughing because my mom's house has been featured twice on Cops.
No,
Yo, I kid you not. We were on our honeymoon in Las Vegas, and we just happened to turn the TV on, and sure enough, Channelview, Texas, Harris County Sheriff Department in front of my mom's house arresting a drunk. It was the best thing ever, and I'm like, Yes. The other time it was my mom's house was when the one-legged prostitute fell over into the ditch and she was too drunk and they had to get her out and arrested her. Oh, that's a whole different story.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother podcast. But so it's the really rough side of town behind. It's the industrial side of town. There's truck stops and there's welding shops. The only reason we moved into there is because my dad was a truck driver and it was big enough to where he could pull his 18-wheeler in and park, and you know that's why we lived there. But I lived in a really rough neighborhood. So
back to Market Street's big boy.
so I use that handle.
Okay, so despite having that name, I still accepted that friend request.
You didn't fault him for it.
And I still remember that picture. It's him standing in front of like a lake, kind of, and his little green car was behind him.
It was still green at the time.
And he had the trophy. He was all sweaty and dirty. You could tell he had like a rough day. No, ma'am. He was like a little dorky smile, like I still remember that picture. Oh, don't look it up, please.
Oh, it's my cover photo is one of them of the many proud photos that I have in front of my little car.
I feel like I saw that picture at one point.
That was the one where I wanted the drag strip.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was your MySpace picture.
That was his MySpace picture.
That was one of my
Nice.
many MySpace
Nice.
pictures.
So you accepted his friend
I
request.
still, despite.
You love the car, don't lie.
So.
So then what happened? You accepted his friend request.
And then I didn't hear from him for like a week. Like we messaged a little bit on MySpace, but I didn't hear from him. So
He
I'm
was
thinking,
busy. He was busy.
That's what I
He's busy
felt like.
winning car shows.
And then at that point, it wasn't serious. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. Like, no feelings hurt. I was like, whatever. Just keep living my life.
Again, it goes to the oblivious part of me. Like, no girl really likes me. Plus, I'm at work. I got really busy, and we were working like 16-hour days. So I'm like, I would go to work early in the morning. I'd message her at lunchtime a little bit.
But at that
and
time, too, you really didn't have a cell phone.
Yeah, because I was using my mom's cell phone. Because,
Yes. He
you know,
gave me his mom's cell phone number.
Again, zero chance of how I actually got her to marry me. I don't
Ms.
know.
Lopez, this is Yvette. Can I talk to Juan?
Aww. Wait, did you really?
I
Yeah,
did.
I didn't have a cell phone. And if I wanted to talk to Yvette, I had to use my mom's. And that's when I was...
After we started, like, talking a little bit more, that's when he finally got himself a cell phone.
Okay, this is...
Real
I
fancy.
hate T-Mobile to this day. I still hate T-Mobile.
Did you have a flip phone?
Yes, it was a small little flip phone T-Mobile,
Nice.
but they charged me for a bunch of calls I didn't make to Istanbul.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. And I got
No,
into
guys, like, we legit still get, like, collective, like, letters.
Thank you.
you
No,
don't.
I kid you
Refuses
not.
to
They
pay
still
that
want
debt.
their money.
Seriously?
That's why I say screw T-Mobile.
It's like $150 something. Like we could pay it, but he like refuses to pay.
Hell
it.
no.
This is 2006, and they said I owed $800. So I was like, I broke the phone, threw it in the ditch. I'm like, I don't need a cell phone anyway. I don't need nobody to call me. I'll be home when I'll be home. So then now I'm like, shit, the girl wants to talk to me. I'm using my fucking mom. I gotta get a burner or something. I can't just.
So I'm thinking this guy's not serious. I'm like, okay, this is fine.
I went to the
No,
AT&T
I wasn't
store and I'm
even,
like, fine, I'll pay the $300 because I had no credit at the time, young kid, and the credit that I did have is burned because of T-Mobile, and I'm like, had to pay $300 to get a crappy little Nokia phone just to talk to Yvette. So I'm like, I remember I was like,
at least worth $300.
hey, that $300 at a 19-year-old, you know, hey,
That's
this is
some money.
That's a little bit of change, I would say.
So it's $5.15 when I started working minimum wage. Shit, I still remember that. I still got all those paycheck stubs.
I'm
But-
sure you do.
I really do. I keep that stuff like that. Anyway, go ahead.
So he got his own cell phone.
Yes, he did. And we would talk. We would talk every once in a while. And then, but it was kind of like off and on. And then we got invited to another friend's little birthday party. So I started getting like invited with that little clique, like that little group.
The ones you met at Buffalo Wild Wings.
At Buffalo Wild Wings. And so there was really cool people, like really chill. And I was like,
It took 10 days, you know that. If it seemed like a long time between.
It did seem like a long time.
It only took 10 days from when I first met her to I was like, I worked up enough courage to
It
like.
only took 10 days.
Hey, this is a W for me.
Cell phone in between there. Like he had shit to take care of.
So
Talked to her that first time that long, and it was like, you know, I got to work the next day.
Yeah, we had that long talk, and then it just kind of like fizzled out. So, you know, that's what it was.
I got in
And-
trouble at work. I fell asleep at work on the forklift. Yeah, I was
On the forklift?
What was it? So I talked to her all night, and I had to get up at 4, and I talked to her like till 3.
And I didn't understand. I mean, I'm at this point where I'm kind of naive, thinking we're all in college, but no, he's legit working.
So I get up, and then I drive all the way to work, and I was on the forklift duty, and I moved a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, all right, I'm ahead. I can take a 15, 20 minutes. So I parked way in the back, turned the forklift off, and I just doze off. And it's my cousin Bert. He's the foreman. He's like, Pendejo, what are you doing, bro? Come on, wake up. And I'm like, you've been over here an hour. And I'm like, oh, shit. I fell asleep in the back for an hour, and I'm like, my bad, I'll catch up. And then the rest of the day, I was just, I was running.
Zombied out.
Yeah, he was just trying to, like, catch up at work. So I'm at this party, and it was at Slick Willie's, and it was, real chill.
R.I.P. Slick Willie's.
I
It's
know.
not there no
Oh,
more.
it was a pool
darn
bar,
Harvey.
pool house, right? What are they called? Not pool houses.
A pool hall.
Pool hall.
There we go.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, back in the day, we used to go.
we used to go to a pool hall to play pool. And we're just hanging out, and I'm like, hey, guys, y'all think that, that guy Juan's going to show up? So, of course, everyone's like, Juan? I'm like, yeah, Juan. And they're like, oh, Feisty? So,
Who was there? It was Macy.
Macy, Chino. I don't know if Santos was there. And then a couple of other people that just kind of, like, in the group. I think Marcos was there.
Yeah.
And we were just hanging out. I'm like, do you think he's going to come? And his friend Chino's like, oh, no, Feisty doesn't come to these things. I'm like, oh, that sucks. We're talking.
Yeah.
And he's like, really? So Chino's like, you know what? I'm going to see something. So Chino calls him up on the phone. And he's like, oh, we're at Slick Willie's. You got to come out. And Juan's like, oh, hell no. Juan's like, I got to work
My
tomorrow.
friends know me. My friends know me since the very beginning. I've always been that one friend that.
I don't go out on the weekdays.
Yeah.
They're like,
Weekdays,
he's
we
just
still
a weekend
on
friend.
weekdays. And so, Chino's like, no, he's not going to come. He's like, let me just see. So he calls Juan, and Juan's like, oh, no, I'm not going. I got to work tomorrow.
I was already asleep.
He's like, well, who's there? He's like, oh, it's me, Macy, and my this new girl, Yvette. And I could hear Juan, who? Yvette? She's there? And Chino's like, yeah, she's here. He's like, all right. And he said something, and Chino hung up the phone. He's like, man, he must really like you. He's actually coming out. I was like, what?
Do you know that's the day? So my friends you always have a group of friends where they rag on you.
Yeah.
That's my core group of friends. We always make fun of each other.
Yeah.
So that's the only way you know your friends.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's the day the nickname of Quesoso. Because I was so cheesy. Because when they saw me get there and talk to Yvette, I was not smooth at all.
I made my fair share of cheesy jokes, and that's what Chino's like, oh my God, you're quesosa. I was like, yeah, hello.
So my friend Chino's like, bro, you got to come. This girl Yvette. And he's like, I told him, I was like, Yvette's there? He's like, yeah. So you going to come?
I was standing right in front of him, like when he was talking to you.
And I was dead asleep. I'd already been in bed for an hour.
Oh, shit.
And when he usually calls me, I'm like, either he's drunk and needs a ride or something happened, something's going on. Hey, you're going to be there.
Emergency.
And there's only like my core group of friends I've had since grade school. It's the exact same to this day. And I was like, shit, he needs something. So when he told me he's there, and I'm like, fuck. All right, bet. I'm on my way. And he's like, he remember him telling me, he's like, you actually came. I'm like, yeah, she was there. Of course I was going to go. He's like, you actually came out on the weekday instead of sleeping. Like, what's wrong with you? This isn't my friend. You're money driven. You're money
You were
hungry.
already asleep.
Yeah, I was already in bed. And I was
dreams
like,
already.
I was gone. And then that's what he's like, you must really like her for you to come out in the middle of, it was like a Wednesday. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a Wednesday.
And then again, traditional Hispanic parents. I lived at home with mom and dad at the time. Well, my parents weren't home. They were migrant workers. So they were in Washington State. So it was just me, my brother, and my sister.
He was able to leave after dinner.
After you were in for the night.
Exactly. I was able to leave.
Yeah.
Because my parents are hardcore traditional Mexicans.
Once you're home, you're home.
Yeah,
Like,
9 o'clock,
you're not
shut the
leaving.
lights off. No vas a hablar con nadie. It's novela time, It was, my mom's still the rosary rattler, Bible thumping lady. So it was like, I'm like, so I still had that Catholic guilt built into me. Like, I can't go out on a weekday. It's, can't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, this girl's here. I got to go. So I took off, and then we were there. Obviously, I kind of suck at pool, but it didn't matter. And she didn't know that.
I don't
so,
think that's the reason you went.
Oh, no. So I'm
I
there.
wanted to see his pool playing skills.
So we're there,
Our
and then I
relationship
remember doing
depended
the
on
whole
it.
being cheesy, like, hey, you want to play some pool? And at that point, I'm like, again, I'm working. I got a little bit of
No,
money.
he was pretty smooth though.
I'm a broke kid, and I don't have that much money, so I'm like, I'll get my own table. Hey, go ahead. And at that time, we were able to buy beer, even though we were underage. Like, go ahead and put a bucket on my account, my tab.
I'm thinking,
bring it over.
oh wow.
Put it on the tab. Put it over in the corner, we're in the back, and then everybody was like, "Oh, fucking Feasty's spending money. Look at him." Like, "Oh wow, he's spending." Chino's like, "Hey, beer is beer." To this
Chino
day,
never turned out to
to this
But
day,
he was pretty smooth. Like after like, a little bit of a show he put on, he was like, "You want to go for a drive?" And I'm like, "All right." But no, like we just drove around North Shore. So romantic.
Really
again,
romantic.
Just
I'm
talking,
still
like, just-
thinking in my head, no girl can actually like me. She's into like because again, in my mind, in my mind, I thought, well, my car's cool. I'm not, so she has to be digging the car. So let me impress her with my car.
So we need to go for a drive.
Yeah,
Like that's
really,
it.
get in this car.
I turned all the neon lights on. I turned all the TV
The car
screens.
turns me on.
I turned all the TV screens on. I had the really loud speakers in the back, and I'm like, I'm so impressing her right now. And it was a manual car, and I remember I was.
Why is this
it's not
music so
automatic.
loud?
And then that was it. I don't. We went back, or I don't even remember that.
No, you dropped me off, and then I went home, and then
We went with right before I asked you out. We went to the racetrack.
Yeah, we went out to dinner. We went to a very romantic dinner with our friends. We just went out with some friends, and we went out to dinner to Aranda's.
Wow.
Yes, he ordered me a fajita quesadilla.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice. They do have some delicious
They were
quesadillas.
again
the super
sponsorship.
burrito, but again, I wanted to order that, but
And then we went out to like the racetrack, and he was trying to show off in his car, racing in his car, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, guy. And then we're walking out, and our friends are in front of us, and we're walking behind them. And of course, in Yvette fashion, I almost fall because
nice.
I'm always falling.
Nice, she does. She
And
falls quite
but he
a bit.
was there next to me, and he actually caught me,
Aww.
so I didn't fall, and he held my hand, and then he didn't let go.
and at that point, I'm like, fuck it, go for the gold. Go for it.
held my hand.
She hasn't been freaked out. She hasn't said no. She keeps smiling at you. Fucking do something stupid. It's the time is now.
Did you put that rock so she would trip over it?
No,
Okay.
God, no. To this day, she still trips on air. I still catch her
I'm just standing there
all the
that
time.
falls,
She's standing still, and then all of a sudden, she just fucking falls. I don't know.
No, it's true. It's true.
But yeah, at that point, I was like,
and that's basically her MO.
Yeah.
she's into me. It's not just a car. She genuinely actually thinks I'm cool. Or in my mind, I'm like, and then that's when you.
What? Don't go that far.
And then that's why I was like, yeah, no. And I'm like, you know what? It's cool. But that's kind of the dynamic
So
we
y'all
have.
were dating and went to the racetrack. How long?
Oh, actually, that's that same night when I asked her out to be my girlfriend, if she wanted to go out another date,
Oh yeah, we
went to
were
TGIF.
really cheesy. We were both really cheesy. Again, quesoso and quesosa. We were very cheesy, but we started dating, and that was 2006. But I told him right away. I'm like, I'm working on my basics, and I was going to move away for my bachelor's.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't ever quiet about it. My parents weren't really aware that I wanted to move away, but he knew.
Yeah, school was not for me. I went one semester, the 13th grade.
And I was just determined. Like, I wanted to get a bachelor's. That was just something that
I do remember.
my parents, instilled in me. You go to college right after. So that was my goal. I didn't want anything to get in my way. So I finished my basics, and I was like, hey, I applied to a bunch of schools, and I got accepted to one in San Antonio. And he was like so supportive.
Yeah, I
he was
mean,
like, do it. He's like, there's no reason not to. And
At that
I was
point,
very
we had
blessed.
been dating about
Yeah.
almost a year and a half, almost 2 years.
I was just very blessed enough to take that opportunity. My parents and my family was, they were very supportive of it. They were a little reluctant at first.
Sure.
And he jokes. He was thinking.
Her dad, the very first time he met me, and it's the best because I love my father-in-law, mother-in-law. They're the best. But her dad did not believe that I spoke Spanish. Because
I told him, I'm like, Daddy, he's Mexican. And
He's like,
okay.
and even
As
better.
brown as I am, I don't speak a lick of Spanish.
Same.
Like, yes.
So,
it's.
but to every Hispanic dad is like, you want one from El Rancho. Well, her dad's one of those really, again, very traditional Hispanic. And
To an extent. My dad's
Yeah.
pretty modern now, but he was
then.
very
Back then, I was
protective.
gonna say,
He's very
Mr.
protective.
Cortez.
Yes, senor.
I actually was from El Rancho. I'm born in Mexico, and I don't know how we
Just
didn't
like a
meet.
few miles down from my
Yeah, I don't know
dad's
how we
ranch.
didn't meet before. I'm a couple of towns over in Mexico from where her dad's at.
Oh, damn.
And then we're not related or anything, but there's
No, we had
we actually have
Who's married to who?
we have a relative. that in common. And then we had that one relative in common, and her dad's like, I've been in your little town. I know. And I'm like, oh, you know my Uncle Sam. You know, and it's funny, our son's named Sam, but it's not, we didn't name him after that uncle. Sure. It's just a coincidence. But it's like, that's our mutual, like, we're not cousins, right? Like, no, we're not cousins. It's just through marriage. Yeah, through marriage, we know each other. So her dad, I remember one of the times we were talking, and like, Daddy is el rancho. He's from the ranch. And I hear her dad clear as day.
I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah, he's from the ranch, Dad. He's from El Ranch. And her dad, I hear him clear as day. Por favor, uno del rancho. And he said something and just walked away like, you know, nothing. And then the very first day, we had already been dating a couple of months. I had met her mom on the very first date. I picked her up, you know.
We had a family. We had like an event we were going to go to, and this is the first time that he was going to come and be with the family, like actually go to
we're meeting her parents, and then we're going to a quinceañera baile. So to me, it's like, you know, I'm kind of one of those cowboy boots, Wranglers, nice shirt, and a cowboy hat. Yeah. That's what I normally wear. Yep. So I show up, and I'm not holding her hand or nothing. I'm being very nice, respectful. And her dad I shake his hand, I introduce myself, and he's kind of like, oh, okay, cool, hi. And he's sitting down, and then I pull the chair out for Yvette, and he looks at me kind of like, nice. And then he's like, ¿de quién eres hijo? ¿De qué compadre? And then I'm thinking he still didn't believe that I was dating Yvette. I'm like, no, I'm Yvette's boyfriend. And he's like, oh. And then it instantly hit him. He talked all that smack on the phone a couple days before, like, oh, shit. And so then I sat down, and he starts grilling me like, all right. And then he starts talking to me in straight Spanish to see if I really spoke the language. And then I sit there and have the whole entire conversation, and then I tell him I'm from the ranch, and then that's where I tell him where I'm from and where I was born, and he's kind of like,
his world came crashing.
He grabbed the bottle and started pouring to like he instantly realized
dad can drink though, man.
I got it from my daddy.
He instantly realized like, oh shit, I was wrong, and two, Yvette's actually dating one from El Rancho. Oh shit, this got real. My baby girl can't be dating a guy. And he just started hammering him down. And I was like, but yeah, that's the
So whenever y'all were dating, so it was like a year and something before you were going away, right, to San Antonio. And so you're still working.
So at this point, I stopped working in that welding shop. You just changed jobs. I had just changed jobs, and I was like, of course I'm a supporter. I actually wanted to do good.
Sure.
I didn't like school for me because I'm like, I'm not going to get nowhere. I'm dumb. It's, you know,
school's not for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not.
So
not that you're dumb. It's just not for everybody.
Again,
trades are important. We need tradesmen.
Yeah. So I went into the working field. I learned how to weld at that shop. So I ended up from driving the forklift, became a welder, and got certified at being a welder. So that's one trait that I learned. Mm-hmm. Well, my biggest thing always was, I'm going to get paid the most for what I do. Mm-hmm. At that point, Yvette's going to college, and I'm like, had an opportunity to get into the plants, which I was kind of reluctant at first. I'm like, plants are kind of dangerous. These things blow up all the time. But again, I consider myself, Yvette doesn't like when I say it, cheap poor when it comes to working. Because whoever pays me the most money, that's where I'm going. Yeah. And they offered me a lot more money to go work, but it was even longer, crazier hours. And
she's in school.
Yeah, and then I didn't know what a shutdown turnaround was, but all that was new to me. And I'm like, you know what? I still want to date her, but I'm going to be working these crazy hours for months on end. Yeah. You know, what's best for her? And I'm not even thinking of relationship-wise, because at that point, I knew I already loved her. And there was not... At that point, I knew I already loved her. And I'm like, this is, you know what? Let her go and get her education, because that's her. I'm not going to hold her back. I'm not going to be one of those assholes to be like, no, you got to stay here. We're going to break up. I've never been like that. That's not, you know, it's not fair to her. So I was like, no, just go. And I'll visit you when I can. And it kind of worked out. She was...
Like, I even remember your brother calling me before, like, when he found out I was leaving. Your brother called me and was like, you're going to leave Feisty? I'm like, no, I'm not leaving Feisty. And he's like, but he loves you. I'm like, oh, I know, I love him too. But he's like, but don't leave him. I'm like, no. Like, he wasn't, like, begging me, but he was, like, calling to congratulate me. But he was still kind of, like...
He was a little skeptical, I think, about the situation.
But I remember, like, him telling me, like, just that conversation, it meant a lot to me. Because one, it meant that he did care for the fact that he just called to tell me congratulations. But then, two, to tell me, you know, like, how much you were going to miss me and stuff like that.
Now, were y'all going to go long distance, or were y'all
well, we were just like, you know what, we're still young.
No, there was to me, it was never a break. Okay. It was never...
it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect, the long distance. I mean, it was hard, and we made mistakes, and we made, like, arguments and
it was me like being jealous, but then after...
But, I mean, we got through it. Like, we got through it. I mean,
It comes a lot when you're younger, though.
Yeah,
too. Like, you don't know how to handle those
how old was I in
situations.
college? I was like 21. I was
was
20
like
and
20.
21. I graduated like a little bit
I think you
after
were,
I
like-
turned 22.
I was gonna say you were like a year behind me. No, you were only
You
like
were
a
in
semester
May, I was
behind me.
December,
Yeah, you were only like a
2009.
semester. So yeah.
And so, I mean, it was...
But actually, in retrospect, the college years were actually the best years. And so when she was here, it was the best years because I saved up for the wedding. And
yeah,
then
I mean,
worked.
like, we both had our own, like, perspectives on it. I mean, it was...
So like when y'all decided y'all were going long distance, y'all decided y'all were gonna go long distance and really give it a try because y'all both loved each other and that was like your end game.
That was, and then
Was
again,
to
you know,
be
it,
together.
Was what?
Was like the end game was to stay together.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I mean,
always stay
like,
together. Marriage still wasn't even there.
it wasn't even, like,
Y'all
on
just
the
wanted
table.
to play it
Yeah.
out.
We would just figure it out.
And especially since I just started this new job, new career, and it's like they told me, hey, you're going to be working 16-hour days, 21 days straight.
Sure.
And then all this, and I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll do it. But she's at college. And
You know, and
I'm-
I was taking, like, full-on loads.
You took, like, 18 hours, yeah.
Plus, my last year I was taking 19 hours. I mean, it was a lot.
was a
And then
full
I was still
schedule.
working. Oh my gosh. I was still working my little, like, part-time job, like,
Sure.
on campus. I mean, it was a lot. Like,
And we talked
so we were
every
both
night
busy.
or for minutes because that's all I really had. I would wake up at 3:30 in the morning, leave the house at 4:30, and be at work at 5. And then I would work from 5 to 8 o'clock at night.
God damn.
And then
there
get
were
off.
times where you'd sleep at work.
Yeah, I
but-
remember there was multiple times. I remember one time I did pull a 16 and a half hour day. And it's 16 and a half hour days in the middle of summer when it's 100 something degrees outside. And, you know, at
takes
that
a
point I was still
fucking
doing iron work, and I was an iron worker, and I was just nonstop running around doing all that. And we'd get off of work. I turned on my car. At that point, I didn't have the XB no more.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest
Yeah,
in peace. I got hit by my brother. Got hit by a drunk driver. I let him borrow
Oh,
the car.
shit.
He got hit by a drunk driver, and he completely got totaled. And you know, to this day, he still feels really bad
He's
about
more
it.
emotional about that damn car.
It's okay. A little bit
That's actually about the
That's the
car.
part that started it all.
If
That's
you,
why.
where it
if you
started.
can't tell, I'm a car guy. I'm
Yeah,
a real big
yeah.
car guy. And I remember turning on. She hated this car with a passion. It was the best car ever. I bought an old cop car.
Nice.
And it was a Chevy, and it was HPD blue. So if you're from Houston,
I'm done.
so I remember turning the cop car, and we called it the Blue Ghost because my brother-in-law gave it that name. He said it looked like one of the Blinky Ghosts from Pac-Man. It was that same
shit.
pastel blue.
It was the same color.
And I just remember turning the car on and waiting for the traffic to die down, and I fell asleep in the car.
Oh, shit.
And then my foreman comes, knocks on the window, and he's like, "Hey, let's go." And he saw me and seen me in that dazed and
You're
confused
confused
look.
as hell.
Yeah, and he's like, "You haven't gone home?" And I'm like, "No, dude, I haven't gone home." He's like, "Shit."
And I remember that night. I remember because I got calls from his mom and his sister because I was actually home in Houston, and they thought he spent the night with me, and I'm like, no, y'all, I'm with my mom and my dad. He thought he was spending the night over here. No.
So again, back to the
But
traditional mom.
he called me
Yeah.
first when he woke up. He's like, babe, I fell asleep in the parking lot, this and that. And I'm like, I figured something like that happened. I'm like, call your mom. I'm like,
I didn't want to call her because my mom is, again, Bible thumper. She's gonna be thinking I was out all night drinking.
No,
Yeah.
they were calling me. They thought he was with me. I'm like, no, because I remember he called me for a date one night, and I'm like, we already had dinner. I can't leave. Here's when I got a Dairy Queen. I'm like, my mom won't let me leave.
So I got home that morning, and my mom was like, again, I'm coming in all dirty from work from the previous day. And I get in the door, and I remember her yelling, and she stopped. She saw me. And then she's like, you fell asleep in the car or what? And I'm like, that's exactly. She's like, take a shower. Your breakfast will be ready. I was like, okay, so that's exactly what I
Not
did.
in trouble.
I was like, cool. Because
Yeah, right.
Why my
I was
hands
like,
so
So, okay, so y'all were dating and you're working. So at what point, Juan, did you decide to take the plunge, if you will? Like that you decided that you were going to ask Yvette to marry you?
oh, I knew way early on I was going to ask her to marry me. I just didn't want to be over anxious and be like, I had to play it cool. So I knew I was going to wait till after she graduated college before I was going to ask her to marry me. Well, I didn't wait that long. But
you were always going to ask her to marry you.
I was always going to ask her to
part
marry
of your
me.
plan.
So again, it goes back to I'm real bad with money, and I still am to this day, and that's one of those yin and yang
I
things.
think you're getting better, though.
Yeah, I'm trying. I still spend it because in my mind, I'm still a broke little kid that never had it. So all that I work real hard, I'm going to spend it back as fast as I can get it. So I remember I did something dumb, and we went to a carnival, and I ended up spending like $300 at a carnival, right there in front of her house. And she's like, "You're bad with money. Why are you spending all that money? You could be saving and doing this and that." And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start giving her money, see if I can trust her with money.
Yeah.
And obviously, I knew I could trust her with money. So yeah, I started giving her money, and I started giving her all my paycheck. Anything that was extra, I started giving it to her. And so
She would save it though. She wasn't going to the nail salon. She wasn't going to the nail salon like every week. No, she was saving it for him.
My mommy, the niece, she was like, at first she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "He wants me to help him save some money." So again, we were young and dumb. We didn't have like those like checking account or like we had like one account.
I didn't
We had
know how
one.
checks and balances,
Or
credit
any of that.
cards.
So
I didn't have
Savings
that.
account maybe.
You know, I didn't know how none of that worked.
I was the savings
I went to the
account.
liquor store.
I was a savings account.
I went to the liquor store and cashed my checks because that's the only way. I didn't know.
So
don't go to
he
the
would give me
bank.
so much, and I mean, the amounts varied, and I would put it away in a box. And then one day he came up to me. He had a nice amount saved up, and he came to me. He's like, "My sister needs it for some bills or something. Something you told me." So I was so mad. I remember I gave him the money, and I was crying to my
Here,
mom.
just take your damn money.
I was just like, "Mom, he saved up that money for so long, and it's just gone. Like, it's just gone because of whatever lie he told me. Like, it was something. It was a lie he told me. But I was so hurt. Like, I was crying about it because, I loved him. And I'm like, man, he worked hard to save it, and it's just gone."
So she was holding her own money for her engagement ring. So all the money I was giving her, literally, I would just be on the ramen noodle. By that time, my mom had went back up north and all that. So I was like, okay, she's getting all my money. So I'm paying just the lights, the water, the gas at the house, my car note that I didn't have anymore. So it's like, cool. I was just throwing all that money over there, and I'm just like saving it up. So I already knew I was going to buy the engagement ring, and I didn't want to get her something. I wanted to get her something nice because this is like, it sounds dumb, but to me, this is important to me because, like, I'm proud of myself, but I want to be proud that, I'm going to ask her to marry me. I'm going to support her. I want something really nice for her. And then, I still to this day look at her left hand. I'm like, yeah, I did that. And it's a pride thing, and it really is. She hides her hand. She hides her hand. But again, I'm bad at saving money, so I'm like, you know what? I'll just give it to her.
That's the way I can do it. I can give it
so
to her
then when she finally did give it to me, and she's like, so mad, so pissed off, and she was just like, then, and she closed the door on me and kicked me out of her mom's house. I'm like, little does she fucking know.
You're lucky I love you.
He was spinning it like, but he told me it was, obviously it was like a lie, but
Sure.
I'm thinking, this guy worked so hard, and it's
You were
just,
thinking it's just for other reasons.
yeah,
so
I
it's
was upset
disappointing for
because,
you.
for him. And but no, I mean, but why did you decide to marry me? Like, why not just move in?
Yeah, like why
okay,
was
so
marriage
to
an
that-
important step for you?
Again, it goes back to being the way I was being raised. It was,
Like your parents got married.
yeah, my parents got married, and, they moved out of their mom and dad's house, and they did it through the church and everything. So to me, that was always something that was instilled, but it was a goal of mine. So here I am, this young kid working my butt off, and I had goals. I was like, before I'm 30, I want to be married, have my own house, have a stable job, and I want a kid. I really did. I don't know what other 30-year-old, young 20-year-old guys would be. Nowadays, it's like, fuck it, I'm going to go out drinking. I've never been that guy. I've had my core group of friends. I've always been real hard worker. And, it's just something that was always instilled in me. So to me, it was always, this is the way to do it. This is the only way to do it. And this is the way you're going to do it.
Do you think your parents would have, like, if you were to just move in together?
Oh, my
I don't
parents.
think at that time.
Yeah.
I mean,
But how would it, if you would have said, like, this is what we want to do, like, we want to
Oh, I
move
can
in?
tell you, my mom and dad would have just said no.
Yeah.
My sister, my mom, and my dad would have said hell no.
Yeah.
And even my mom is, again, love her to death, but she can, not saying she's judgy, but it's the church. It's not good in the church. It's this and it's that. Hey, you got to do it right.
I can say it. I'm just kidding.
But no,
But y'all felt that pressure from both
Yeah.
sides then.
Yeah, it's
like,
like,
your
you know,
parents and
it
your
wasn't even
parents.
that much for me. It was
It
pressure.
wasn't like
It was
pressure, but it was kind of like the expectation of,
This is how-
okay, if you guys are going to be getting serious and being together, then
this is the
again,
course
that
to take.
Catholic guilt. I'm not saying that we got married because of guilt, but it
Sure.
was kind of, that's what's been ingrained in us. It's, the next step is marriage.
That was the
Like
natural
it, just
next
like
step.
it was ingrained in me. You're gonna go to high school, graduate, college,
Sure.
work. You know, so then that's
And
kind
for
of like...
me, it was the exact same thing. Hey, you meet one person, you date around or whatever. You know, I was lucky enough. I found Yvette young. I was happy. And then some people like, oh, you settled this and that. I'm like, honestly, no, I didn't. I met this person. I had a genuine connection. I loved her. And to this day, I can still tell you, honestly, look at her. I still love my wife. It's like, after all these years, and they're like...
Good, you said it just like how we rehearsed it. Good job.
And again, it's one of those, you married your friend. And because as you can tell, she rags on me a lot, and I just go back and forth. But you got to be able to get along with the person you're married with.
Of
No,
course.
you're
You know,
my
and
best friend.
that's
You're
exactly-
my best friend too, Tam.
I was like, wow.
That hurts, like deep down.
How many...
Still we're the same size. Okay, so background story on that
Okay,
one.
so sorry.
So me and Yvette met when we were 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we went to the same Catholic school in Galena Park.
Yeah, whoop.
Yep. And she was new that first day, right? This is the first
I
day
think
of
it was
school.
like the first, we were
The
brand new.
very first day we met her, I was already going to that school. She was brand new. And our moms forgot about us or
guess so.
something.
Just sitting out on the bench
we were
outside.
the only ones sitting out on the stoop in front of the school. And I was just like, so, like, you know, how's it going? And so, literally, I don't know how we got on the subject, but I was like, what size is your shirt?
At random. They're still to this day random. Here we are, all these years later. My grandmother has a key to the house, and it's
she
just
goes,
random.
I don't know, what size is
And we wore the
my
same
tag?
size shirt.
And so she was like, and we're like, wow, it's the same size.
And our skirts.
And so she was like, wow, what size is your skirt? So we turned them around and looked and checked, and we wore the same size skirt. So that's like our running
That's how
joke.
we bonded.
Yeah, that was the first day we ever met.
To
Is
this
that
day,
we
my
wore
comadre still comes into the house. She has the key. She has the code.
Oh, I
she
know
walks.
the codes to everything.
She walks
like,
right
I just
in.
walk in.
Yeah, it's
We were
comadre.
at Disney, and then like my alarm's like going off. She's like, I'm at your house.
But no,
Let myself in to watch our
The-
TV show.
to me, that's the steps I was supposed to take, because that's the way you're supposed to do it. That's the way it was, like, you know, you're supposed to get married, supposed to have a nice wedding, supposed to have, you know, a wild honeymoon, and you have kids.
Whoa.
Well, that's. I mean, so to me, that was.
we got a
different
present
show.
from that
Different show.
I always had that goal, and I, you know, once I started working, and I'm like, why do I want to work? What's the point of working? And then my point was, well, I want to get married to Yvette. Well, why? Because I love her. And then that's so that's where it lit the fire. She's going to school. I'm putting all these crazy hours in.
You know, it took a lot of conversations and getting to know each other to realize that we want to have that old couple moment when we're sitting together next to each other and have like memories of a lifetime spending with like our best friend. You know, not just someone that you can call the phone and just hang out with, but actually legit spend our time with and enjoy each other.
Like I tell some people,
And it wasn't an easy road to get there. Like,
no,
it wasn't an easy road to get there to figure it out. But
we've been married this long, and it's still not easy. We're still
No,
learning.
and-
We still have our bumps and trials. But like I tell my other friends that, you know, they talk to me like, "Hey, you've been married a while. You know, how do you do it? How do you still stand la vieja in the house?"
and
Like,
it hasn't been easy. It hasn't. Like, once we got married, it was beautiful for a few weeks. And then we got married November 20th, and then I found out I was pregnant December 10th. It was right away.
9
We were
months.
buying Backstreet Boys
Damn.
We
tickets.
were, and I was like, Tammy. She's like, well, I'm like, I'm pregnant.
I was like,
Shut
no, you're
up.
not.
No, you're not. Let's buy these tickets, and then we'll go buy a pregnancy test.
And it totally happened like that. I didn't
She did.
believe her.
She made me put my seatbelt on.
Yeah. I did not believe her because it was so quick. And I was like, Yvette, you're not even married yet. I don't believe you.
Yeah, you're not married yet.
Because, you know, I've known her Yvette for a long time. And, like, for me to get used to the idea that she was married was like, that took me a while.
I was so scared to tell my parents that I was
Yeah, I
pregnant.
can
I was so scared. He's like, we're married.
we
It's
were
fine.
married.
That's
It
what
happens. That's what's expected to happen. They knew
But I'm like,
this is how
no,
the process
we were
works.
gonna be married. I told
homie.
my dad we were going to be married 2 years, and then I was going to have babies. And then here we are. You know, we were very blessed, though. I mean, she's
You know,
our blessing.
So
I
she's-
bought her the house,
Yeah.
and she picked her house before I bought her a house before we even got married. So I let
Oh,
her.
because I graduated in 2009, December 2009. Excited to start my brand new career in communications, and of course there was a recession, so there was no jobs for me.
Wow.
So I graduated December 2009, was unemployed, planning a wedding.
Oh, wow.
He bought a house, and
So,
I started working finally.
Big
August
recession.
2010.
Everything's crashing
I know.
around.
Yeah.
I know.
Thank God we live in Houston where the oil never took a hit, and they're like, "Hey,
Nice.
everything's
Wonderful.
cheap
They
right
weren't
now.
hiring me.
Let's build everything while it's still dirt cheap."
Yeah.
So while everybody else is around the states is tanking, here we are in Houston just steadily rocking it, and people like me at that was 23 were able to buy houses, first time home buyers, and the
22.
Obama credit, and all. I mean, it was all these rebates. So I'm like, dude, I bought my house at 24. And I'm
22.
20, yeah, I had a house. My goal was to buy a house.
No. You were 23.
We were 23
I
when y'all got married.
Yeah, I
My
had
goal
turned
was to buy a
23.
house or have a house before 25, and I already proposed, and I started looking at apartments because you start off with a little apartment, then you
Yeah.
graduate to a house. All the apartments that I could afford, I didn't feel comfortable her staying there, and I'm like, and then I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna do anything like that, I might as well just buy a home.
Yeah.
And so I told her, hey, pick something you like, because again, to me,
Yeah, our
it's
house note was cheaper than like the
apartment.
apartment rent that we were
So
looking at.
that's how bad-
That's the reason why we bought a house. It wasn't just because of it was
Status
just
house,
status.
yeah.
No, it was actually the most financially sound thing to do.
That's very smart and
Yes, thank you. It was very mature.
proud
for
of
it.
you for a
Unemployed
23-year-old.
22-year-old at that time. Thank you.
and
Which
then,
is funny because like we were talking like a few episodes back about how we thought that 23 was a great age
Oh,
to
yeah,
be married,
yeah.
and for the both of us it didn't happen. But like y'all
It
got
happened,
married,
like-
Betty got married.
We've had a couple of
Yeah,
other
like a
friends
lot
married at
of,
that
they
time.
got married around that time, and so now I think about it as like a 20. I have like coworkers who are 23, and I feel like they're so young, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe
we
it.
sit back and I'm like, oh my God, we were babies.
Yeah.
Like we were
Looking
married
at her
with
photos.
a child.
I know. I was looking at a
we
picture
were
of that.
babies with a baby. Like we were children.
I don't think you've seen this one. Check this one out.
Look,
It's our
okay.
wedding
so just to
photo.
describe,
Yeah.
Casey is wearing a cowboy getup
Nice.
with a
That's how
cowboy
you
hat
do it.
and
So,
some
again-
ostrich-looking boots.
Yeah.
It's our wedding
We're in
photo.
a Rolls Royce,
Yeah.
1931, 32, war, it's post-war era
Yeah.
Rolls
Start
Royce.
coming up with dates and stuff.
Hey, again, I got married, but it's not just because everybody, it's the girl's dream and everything to have a big dream wedding. And it was, but
And-
no, for me, it's like, hey, I worked really hard. And we come from a Hispanic where it's not the groom's, the groom pays for it, not the, even though her parents did pay for a lot of it and everything. But I'm like, hey, I got
We-
some skin in this game.
We took our wedding photos actually down the street from where we live now. It's in a little neighborhood. I'm not going to say the name of the neighborhood, but it was beautiful. They had this beautiful entrance with like these like gazebos and bricks, and it was just pretty to me. Like, I loved it. So I told them that's where I want to take the pictures.
Yeah.
And at that time, we're like, this is somewhere where we'll never be able to live. And
Fast forward here to last
I
year,
know
when
we
we're looking for a
actually
house.
turned down some houses
We
in that
went
neighborhood.
over there and looked
We're
at the
like,
houses,
no.
and we weren't impressed. We're like, they don't meet our criteria. They're not what we want.
Yeah.
So to
Not
be able to go
criteria,
fast
no,
forward
that's
from
okay.
then
Criteria.
to we'll never be able to afford something like this to, it's not nice enough for
those
us.
are those goals, though.
But
I mean,
that was like something y'all wanted
We
to do as
together.
a couple,
Yeah.
together.
So that's why our wedding.
sorry, we're jumping around.
No, you're good.
This is our life.
That's why our wedding was
So
the
ADD.
way it was, because to me it was not just.
There's a lot of people at y'all's
I
wedding.
was proud. Well, that's how big our families is.
I know. It was just like family there too. It was like 800
No, I'm still
people.
meeting people.
Holy shit.
No, I met like people last week that were not last week, like last year. They're like, "Oh, I was at your wedding." I'm like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you."
Yeah,
Like
no,
legit, this place was packed.
we had a
There
big
was
wedding, and
so
then it
many
was.
people
a
there.
big family, and my parents, are very friendly people. They have a lot of friends, and they wanted to celebrate. It was going to be a great party.
And again, it was one of those. Her parents helped us out a lot, but and I'm like, I'm proud too.
yeah, they did a lot.
They did a lot, but I'm like, you know what? I want the big wedding, and it's not just for her. Hey, this is for me too, because I'm in
Your
my
family's
mind.
celebrating just as much.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is like, this is the
That
most people
Rankin
are-
Palace Reception Hall is a really beautiful place to
Located in North Houston.
Rankin Palace Reception Hall.
Available today.
So that's why
Calm
it was to
down.
me. It's always been, I want this too, because this is celebrating something for both of us.
Yeah.
This is an achievement. Not just everybody's always like, oh, it's just for the girl, and I'm like, no, Fuck that. It's for both of us.
Like our wedding, like I felt like with us, it was like actually a celebration. Like it was like
really
everyone
was.
says
It was so
that,
fun.
but it was fun. Like we all had an amazing time.
My groom's cake. Best one.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
his
was pretty
snack cake,
legit.
groom's cake.
It
Y'all
was
had
like
different cakes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll show you the pictures later. But
he's real proud. We'll show you the album afterwards.
But like, you know, we had this beautiful Italian cream wedding cake, beautiful, everything I like, ever imagined for my wedding cake, and his was this very tastefully put together snack cake. So the actual cake inside, but there was like little Debbie's cakes were lined like all around it, and then they made these two Twinkie bride and groom cake toppers for it.
What?
It was
That's
adorable, and his had a little hat and boots, and mine had little chucks on.
She was
So it was-
I'm
It was
32
layered.
and I'm just learning how to walk in heels, but I wore like my glittered chucks with my wedding dress.
So yeah, that
So
was.
what would you say? Y'all been married almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
Key takeaways from marriage. Like, what is something that if someone was getting married that you would tell them, like, to lend advice?
It sounds so cliche to say this, but you need to communicate. You have to know how to talk to each other, and you have to know each other's boundaries. Because I know, again, like I pick on him and I tease him all the time. And I know when I take it too far. I know when I'm being, because again, I'm
Educated Latino. We'll just leave it at that. Because that's my go-to answer when
I'm
she
an
starts
educated
acting that
Latina
way.
that don't need no man.
But here we are. No, my thing is, like I told other friends, like I was saying earlier, they asked me, they're so mad. And it's like, yeah, it's okay to have arguments, this and that. But as mad as you ever are, and you're just ready to call it quits, can you still look at her at the end of the night and be like, fuck, I still love her. Damn it. Okay, we got to work.
But you know, it's not like an overnight thing. It's not like we've been through some tough times where we were ready to just call it. We were done.
And
done.
again, and I have that conversation where I'm just staring at her and she's like, that Lisa Simpson meme, the what bitch, what are you gonna do? Is my wife. It's that meme, is my wife. What the fuck you gonna do? Like, I look at her and I'm just so mad and I'm just like, I'm done. Fuck this, I'm leaving. But then again, I take a deep breath. Do you still love her? And it always comes back in my head. Do you still love her? Because the second you don't, leave. Don't fucking waste her time. Don't waste my time. And the answer is always still the same. I still love her. No matter how pissed off we are, how mad, whatever it's been, we've gone through ups and downs. I still love her. And it's like, if you can still answer that at the end of the day, you're going to be all right. Because it's not like, oh, it's a happy fairy tale. No, it's every day.
And when we get to those points, which they've happened a couple of times, more than a couple of times, where we basically had to restart dating each other. Like, it's not like, okay, I'm not mad at you anymore. I love you. No, it's
like a quick. It's not a quick.
It's not a quick.
thing.
No, it takes. You both want to have to make it work.
And in this throwaway society, and that's what I think from other friends that I've heard, that dating is so hard because it's a throwaway society. They're not willing to put in the time.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that divorce is never the answer. No, because sometimes you are not meant to be, and that's you need to get away from
Like, you shouldn't have got married in the first
I'm
place.
not for us, for our situation. We both want to make it work, you know, and that's just our takeaway, you know, because again, every relationship is different. Every couple is different. We approach things in our own way. People look at us like we're weird because we know we are, but you know,
it works for us. And I mean, it doesn't work for everybody. Like I've told one friend before, hey, if you can actually do and look at her and he's like, I can't no more. I was like, you better make sure.
The times that I've loved him the most is whenever we've had the kids, and the times that I've hated him the most was after we had the kids.
Really?
Yes.
Before and after.
Before and after. When we've had
So you have 2 kids.
You have 2 kids. And I can, you know, honestly say 2 times where we've almost been on the brink of divorce.
Kids are hard.
It's hard.
They bring a totally different
like,
element
you know,
to the
and you
situation.
think it's just because of, you know, changes and schedules. No, there's so many things. So many things that
Growing
affect you,
pains.
and we grow apart, and you know, the kids take all your attention. Of course, with Samuel, it was a completely, you know, he was preemie. It took a lot of energy and a lot of.
I'm
lot
literally,
from us.
she makes fun of me, but I'm bald because of my son, and I'm gonna blame him. I was gonna go bald eventually, but he started the process. So
That's a stressful
yeah,
situation.
a little background on Sam.
But again,
so,
it's just, you know, I loved him the most when, especially after I had Samuel and I had a C-section. It was just such an emotional time for both of us, and he took care of me, physically took care of me, and like that was the most that I've ever loved him. That was like the most romantic things that he ever did for me was to actually bathe me and like take care of me. And sorry. But like that was like the most romantic things to me. He's bought me flowers, he's bought me candies, he's taken me on vacations. But that's what means the most to me is whenever he physically took care of me, where I couldn't do for my own self. You know, and then after things kind of changed and, you know, we worked through it because we both wanted to make it work. Maybe not immediately, maybe not at the same time. There was times where he wanted to work and I didn't, and vice versa, but we eventually got on the same page.
Postpartum is real.
Huh?
Postpartum is real.
It is very, very real.
I used to think that's a made up bullshit. And some couples, they experience it and they're like, no, she stayed level the whole time. And then
it's not the same for
everyone.
everybody.
It's not, you know, everyone goes through it in a different way.
So postpartum hit us kind of hard. And then it's, again, I had that conversation on a daily basis with me is, do you still love her? Well, yes. Well, then shut up, suck it up, and make it work. It's your job. You know, and again, she hates to hear it. I'm being fucking macho. I'm the man. It's like, it's my job to make this work. It's not her job because my wife is a very proud, educated Latina, and she's going to be stubborn and bullheaded and fight you the whole entire way.
Never.
Nah, not my wife. But again, that's when you have to grit your teeth and is this worth it? Is this what you really want? Because, again, you can fucking leave anytime you want. You're not forced to be here. And I tell myself, no, I want to be here. No, this is my choice. And other people were like, nah, dude, nah. And I'm like, no, I love her. They're like, well, if you love her, go back over there and make it work.
Yeah.
And that's what we do every day. I have an analogy I'll use. Tammy's heard it before. I mean, Yvette hates it, and I won't say it now. But I find it funny. You'll find it hilarious because, you know, it's my dark. He's a dude. Dudes will find it funny. So it's a little bit dark on our side.
Which
Dirty. The bear.
The bear trap?
Oh, no, thank you.
No.
You didn't even...
Oh, go ahead. He's going to want you to say it.
Okay.
Good.
So it sounds so messed up, and my wife just looks at me every time I say it. It's like, nah, she's just
head.
glaring at me. It's a dick in a bear trap. Marriage.
That's a marriage is.
Marriage is a dick in a bear trap. You are willing. I am willing. The day I said I do and I put the ring on her, I willingly put my dick into a bear trap. And it closed down on me. Just snap. I've grown to love this bear trap. This is my bear trap. I haul this bear trap around with me every day. This is mine and this is nobody else's. This is only my bear trap.
This is my gun. There's no another like it.
Exactly. This is my bear trap. The day that bear trap ever comes off, if it does come off, be divorce, somebody passes away, because we've had that conversation too. What happens if it passes away? I want her to go and get remarried. She told me the same thing and I laughed my ass off. I'm like, no. I'm only putting this much effort once in my life into this marriage. This is my one and only marriage. I'm not going to put this much effort into somebody else because so much that is taken from me and her to make this work. I love it. I don't want to put myself into somebody else the way I put into her. One, because I don't want to go through that again. The ups, the downs, the lows. I'm only going to do that once. This is my one lifelong, this is my love. This is my wife. This is the one I chose. I'm not going to put that much effort into anybody else. It's not worth it. It's like, no, this is my one wife. I only get to do this once. So if anything does happen, I'm not going to remarry. It's like, it's already been said. No. Even if it comes to divorce or anything like that, which I don't see it happening. She's not going to cheat on me because, again, we have really high standards and we have high standards, high feelings when it comes to that topic. Because some people say, just you go out and cheat. It's just easy. Just go and get some on the side if she ain't putting out. No, that's not how it fucking works, dude. This is your wife. You don't disrespect your wife like that. If you do that, that's disrespecting yourself. You don't value yourself at all. I know I sound like a prissy little bitch when I say it, but it's like, dude, I have high standards for myself. I value myself.
Calm down. You're getting mad.
I'm just
because he's saying it makes sense. He's passionate about it.
Yeah. So again, that's why I make the joke, because it's easy to joke around with the bear trap. But if it does ever come up, I'm not willing to put my dick back in another bear trap. Some guys are stupid enough to 3, 4, 5. I mean, fucking idiots born every fucking minute, So, but I'm not. This is the one time I'm willing to put myself 100%, because that's exactly what it takes to make this work, is 100%.
Yeah.
And so, no, that's why I don't see divorce in our future, because I'm willing every day to make it.
You're going to work every day.
Yeah. And it's exactly what it is. You have to make it work. You know, and then in this new industry that I just started here 5 years ago, it has an extremely high divorce rate because of the type of work that I do now. And it's a rotating shift work. So I work nights, days, and I have days off in the middle, and it's just, I'm all over the place. So I really need a strong person there to support me and be there for me. And that's what my wife is. It's somebody who's there for me to support me, because not too many people are willing to put up with shift work.
Yeah.
It's, you know, one, it's physically demanding, and two, we only see each other a couple times a week. And then I get
like this week he worked nights, so like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he's coming in from work, and I'm waking up to leave for work. So we
and
see
you
each
have
other.
the kids, like
and we
you're
have
getting the kids ready to go to school and daycare.
So
and all
it's
that.
like single mom life when he works nights in the week. But again, that's something that we had to discuss, and you know, we worked it out.
I mean, we make it work every day. So, but that's our take on.
That's your take on marriage.
That's our take on marriage. You have to make it work.
And all because he invested $300 in the cell phone. There you go.
Best $300 you ever spent.
I tell myself all the time, we joke and everything, but we look back. Market Street's Big Boy came a long way. You know,
I didn't use that one.
I actually did. I did go back to school. I ended up, because the day my daughter was born, it instantly clicked. The ultrasound, when I first heard my daughter's heartbeat, I thought, you know, I'm good, I'm fine.
This is like a couple of weeks after we got married.
Yeah, I heard that heartbeat.
About a month or
I've
so.
never had cold sweats, clammy hands. It took me to the ground. I was on my knees. My stomach just in knots.
Wow.
It literally, in my mind, I was okay, but my body was telling me, hey, this is real. And you're responsible for somebody now.
Yeah.
You're no longer just dating, you know, playing house. No, you have responsibilities now. The day she was born, shortly thereafter, I went to go take a test to go get a better job, because I said, I can't be doing the same line of work that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as an old construction worker. I need something better for my daughter and my wife. I just can't be a bum no more, and just, not that I was a bum, but just construction worker. I need something better.
Yeah.
And I started going back to school, which I hate and despise school. That's why I was like, no, school's not for me. I went back and I was working crazy hours, going to school at night, coming home, doing homework, and then waking up and doing it all over again. And it was rough. I wish I would have done it the other way around now, but I mean, it worked out for us. But you know, it changes everything.
You had the option. That's
All right.
okay.
So, parting words. What would be your, like, why is this something that, I guess, like we said, people often take time, or a track that's not towards marriage, like living together and all of that stuff. So if you had advice for people, and like, this is, you know, we're married, this works for us, what would you say to them?
So I'd say don't rush into it. I mean, not saying that we did, but again, we felt like that was the next step, and that's what we had to do. And but I'm happy we did, because me and him are both on the same page with it. We were, you know, and we were both very blessed to have that.
It's not like one of you wanted to just live together and the
No,
other
like-
one
And the other one's just like, I'm there just for the ride.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, we wanted to live together, but again, our parents were not going to let that happen. So, like, you know, I already told him, you know, Adeline's going to be able to.
Hell no. Not my baby girl.
Not Sam, though. No,
No.
he'll live
never
with me.
leave.
So no, he'll never leave me. No, just
Don't rush it.
don't rush it. There's no rush, and you know, I just like seeing these young couples nowadays taking their time.
These young couples.
These young millennial couples, and you know, they're taking their time. They're actually, you know, getting to see how it is to live with another person, because moving in together and not ever having another person to live with, like I had a sister, but we were 7 years apart. That was a huge change, especially living with a boy. I mean, it was weird. Like, it was really weird. So, any words?
For me, I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's weird. It's one of those things that's always been so ingrained in me. That's the way you have to do it, and it's not even the way. I couldn't see myself doing any other way than the way I did it, because again, the way my psyche's built up and the way I think of the outlook on it is, that's the way to do it. You know, it's not saying you can't do it any other way. And I know a bunch of friends that just shack up, or they're just dating, or they
Shack up. They're shacking up with the ladies.
shack up, you
hooking up anymore. They call it hanging out.
Okay, whatever, you know, Netflix and chill and shit. No, but it's just it's just one of those, you know, it's like, I'm not too sure. It's just, I don't know, it's just different.
You know, we do feel like we missed out on some stuff, getting married so young and having the kids. But then we also get to tell ourselves, our kids are going to be grown and we're still going to be young.
Mm-hmm. And when we're in our 40s...
Well, lucky you.
when we're in our 40s, both our kids are going to be 20s already, so it's
Y'all are going to be going to Vegas. I'm like, I'm having a toddler party, guys.
Addie will be there with the president.
She can babysit.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
So, but I mean, it's just however you want to make it work, as long as you have the will to make it work. I mean, for us, that's what happens. That's what keeps us going is, do I want to be here? And then for me, it's yeah. And as long as you want to be together with that person, it doesn't really matter if you're married or not. Just you're willing to be there. If you're just not 100% committed to it, you're just kind of like, yeah, she's a good lay. You know, cool. I'll just hang out with her and see what else is available. Don't waste your time. Value yourself a little bit more than that.
So don't be a little bitch.
Just don't be a fucking hoe in general.
Me and Rap's like motto is don't be a little bitch. That's like something that we end parting words with. So
don't be a little bitch.
But
just don't be a little bitch about it.
And again, it's like the times are so different. It's you have all these new things, and I wouldn't survive in today's dating world. I really wouldn't because one, again, I'm too awkward. Two, I'm too picky. Even though I'm not an Adonis or nothing, it's just. Again, I look at these random girls and I'm like, no. Look at her Instagram post. Where have you been? How many people have you done? I'm not going to touch you with a 10-foot, you know, I just, no.
Just no.
Things haven't changed. It's just people are more open about talking.
I mean, well, social media is a totally different game. I mean, we talked about MySpace. So, anyway. Well, thanks for sharing. We appreciate you guys.
You got to see people who are very long-winded.
Talk for days.
Yeah. So, no, this is a good one. What do you think?
Yeah, we know.
Huh?
We know.
All right.
So, just don't be a little bitch.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us on. I mean,
thanks for being on.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate the perspective because, like we said, we're just single living our lives over here. So
exactly, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to get married, but then after talking to you guys, like, you know,
doesn't it make you cry? I literally was about to cry.
You just have to make it want to be worth it. That's the whole thing. It has to be worth it to you. If it's not worth it to you, just screw that, blow it off. But it has to be worth it to you. It's like, what are you going to put in is what you're going to get out. If you don't put it in 100%, you're not going to get it back out.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it's...
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like, he gets on my nerves. Like, I'll call Tammy. Oh, Juan said
You know how hard it is to be married to an educated Latina that has her own voiced opinion?
I can only imagine.
I mean... And then
when she has another one come over Friday nights to watch TV.
I know, right? Trash TV.
It goes back to one of those... Take a deep breath. She says a lot of shit, but deep down, she's like, babe, need help. You know, and then that's when you come in, you're like, all right, I'm willing to help you.
Yeah.
Nice parting words.
Yes.
Oh, this is fucking cool.
I'm in love with you. You love me? Yeah.
I think I'm in love with you.
You love me?
No way.
So I wanted to name my daughter Adeline.
Debbie.
I wanted to name her Debbie.
Debbie.
Because
Shameless?
No, Deborah.
Deborah, little Debbie. Little Debbie, the snack cakes. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I wanted to call her Debbie because I love little Debbie cakes. Yeah. The zingers, the ho-hos, the host, you know, all that.
He said he did for the hoes.
The zingers.
My dad.